Welcome back to this segment of Council Report. Joining us for this segment will be Richard Forrester, better known as the Bald Man. Richard is a member of the board of the Atlanta Blues Society, and you also host a show, Good Morning Blues, on WRFG. So good to have you and want to talk some blues with you. You know how much I love the blues, and obviously you love the blues. So let's just talk about what you do at the station and what you see as the future of blues in the city of Atlanta.
Well, again, I do a blues radio show at WRFG. The Rich Petitt, the blues professor, is my radio partner. We do it on Wednesday mornings. Of course, we do blues Monday through Friday, 6 a.m. to 10 at the radio station, and we have a kind of a jump blues program on Sunday morning. So we work hard there at the radio station to play the blues, and I work hard trying to promote it through the Atlanta Blues Society.
All right, how did you get involved in the blues?
Well, I heard music from my college radio station back in 1983.
Where was this?
Auburn University. And
you actually listened to the blues at Auburn University?
Well, that's where I got turned on to the blues. I heard Stevie Ray Vaughan playing on the radio station. Who was that? And then I started finding out more and more about Stevie Ray Vaughan, and finding out about him, I found out that he was influenced by the blues musicians of previous years. Mm-hmm. So I got everything I could find about him, and then I started digging deeper and deeper and deeper and finding out more and more about the blues. The radio show has helped me learn more about it because my partner is very knowledgeable in the blues aspects and of all the musicians, and I enjoy doing that, so that's helped me. So it's been a learning process for myself, but I feel like I've learned a lot through. I've been at the radio station 3 years, and I've been with the Atlanta Blues Society for 4 years, which actually I came aboard the Atlanta Blues Society shortly after it was started in 1996.
Now, tell us. I mean, I've recently joined. I'm like a lot of people. I guess I'm known as Atlanta's #1 blues fan. But I've been procrastinating, and recently though joined, and it's very inexpensive to join. So I would like to encourage those who say that they like the blues to join. But tell us about the Atlanta Blues Society.
Well, I found out about the Atlanta Blues Society through WRFG. I started listening to the station because I found out that they did blues programming, and I heard that they were going to have an Atlanta Blues Society meeting. This was back in 1996. And so I went to the meeting, and that's where I met our current president, Carlin C. Note Smith. I met Heaven Davis, who's the vice president. I met Larry Stotts, who is also, we've got 2 vice presidents. And just from there, met those folks, and also met Tom Davis, who was with WRFG at the time. And it just blossomed from there.
What's the purpose of the society?
To preserve and promote blues music in Atlanta. Now, the Atlanta
But it's not limited to the city of Atlanta.
No. The Atlanta Blues Society belongs to a parent organization called the Blues Foundation, which is based in Memphis, Tennessee, which Memphis claims to be, Memphis and Chicago go back and forth claim to be the father or the town of the blues, the home of the blues. And Memphis does quite a bit for blues music. They host the W.C. Handy Awards, which is coming up, the 21st annual W.C. Handy Awards, which is equivalent to the Blues Grammys, on May 25th, Thursday night. I'll be going to that event. I went last year for the first time, and from now on, I'm going to make it a part. As long as I can make it over to Memphis, it's going to be a yearly trek for me for that. They also host the International Blues Challenge, which they have bands from all over blues societies throughout the country. There's blues societies in Europe. There's blues societies all throughout the United States. So we're a part of that organization. We are that local chapter here in Atlanta for blues societies.
Do you play yourself?
No, I do not. I have actually got up and sang a little bit, but I don't do that very often.
What did you sing?
Just some blues music.
Right.
I haven't done it. We have blues jams at our monthly meetings, and I haven't got up the courage yet to get up there and sing yet. I'm going to one day, though.
Well, I bought me a bass guitar, and I'm going to teach myself, and one of my goals is to sit in at Blind Willie's and Pal's down on Auburn Avenue. I'm going to do that probably this year. I just want the chords. Yeah,
that would be
I
great.
really, really enjoy it. A lot of people ask when you talk about the blues, they don't really understand. How would you define to the average listener, what do you mean, what do we mean when we say the blues? I know what the blues, in fact, I had the blues this morning driving down here.
Well,
still have them, as a matter of fact.
It started out in the fields. Slave hands and whatnot started singing it. It really came from the Mississippi Delta, and it blossomed.
Singing about what?
Hardship, down and out, those type things.
Hard times.
Hard labor, all of that. And then it just gradually progressed from the Mississippi Delta up the Blues Highway to Memphis, and then on up to Chicago. And of course your Delta bluesmen, your acoustic style players, they were the first. And it didn't get electric until Muddy Waters went to Chicago and plugged in, and that's why Muddy is just, people recognize him as one of the blues greats because of what he did to turning it into electric. Of course, he did the Delta as well, but once he plugged in, blues became electric at that point. Also, of course, T-Bone Walker was doing electric stuff as well during that same period. But a lot of people it did come out of that as far as hardship labor and being moaning the blues, crying and whatever. But a lot of the music is also fun music, and I don't like to. Some people don't want to listen to it because they think that's all it is. But it's got there's some funny songs, blues songs that are, that I really like. So it's not just the downtrodden, depressed, gonna get you depressed type of music that a lot of people think it is. It came from that, yes, but it has blossomed into some, other.
Don't you think there's a relationship between the blues and, say, country music and even some gospel music?
Oh, most definitely. The blues was the founding part of music for all American music.
Some people say it is the American music.
Right. There's a quote from Willie Dixon, who was a great Chess Records bass player and songwriter. In fact, a lot of the music, Chicago music that came out of Chess, would never have been the same without Willie Dixon. There's a quote. They have a museum in Tunica. The Horseshoe Casino has a blues museum there, and there's a quote on the wall, and it goes something like, "Blues music is. See, blues is or all of their music is the fruit of blues," or something like that. It's blues is the root of all American music. All American music came out of it: country, gospel, rock and roll, R&B. All of it came from the blues. Blues started the American music.
Now, you mentioned Chicago and Memphis. Why are those places more noted for blues than, say, Atlanta, Georgia? Because I think that there's a tremendous opportunity here, as well as a wealth of talent.
I agree with you, President Pitts. I couldn't agree with you more. I think we have great potential here. Chicago and Memphis probably are recognized more for blues because they are where the blues started in the Delta. It went up Highway 61, which is the Memphis Highway, to Memphis and to Chicago's, and then it spread out from there. So I guess that's probably the reason why they had a part of the foundation of it. But Atlanta certainly has, and being the biggest city in the Southeast, the blues is from the South, certainly has the potential, and I feel like we've got a good base going, but we can do so much more. And I'm hoping that through the Atlanta Blues Society and getting the community involved in things, we can do more with blues.
You also mentioned earlier about the international growth. In my travels, it seems to me that there may be a greater appreciation for music in general, jazz in particular, but more specifically blues internationally than in this country.
Europeans really appreciate blues music over there, and I really don't have the answer as to why that is. Whether I don't know if it's a novelty type thing for them or whatever, but I hear so many of the artists talk about how well they're treated there and how much people really appreciate what is, you know, what they're doing there as far as their music being played in Europe when they perform, and how well they're treated and all. And a lot of the blues musicians here in the United States go to Europe because they are treated so well and respected well over there. You know, I wished we were it was better received here in the United States. I really do.
And what are we doing, or what is the society doing, rather, to kind of, with another generation of blues musicians, blues lovers? What are we doing?
Well, we just finished up with the second annual Atlanta Blues Festival, and you were in attendance and really.
Actually, I was honored to be the honorary chair.
That's right, and we certainly did appreciate you coming out, all your support for that. Did you have a good time?
I loved it, loved it. And I'll tell you, the group that kind of speaks to what I'm asking you. There was that young group from, is it Tampa?
Jacksonville.
Jacksonville. Those guys were 13, 15, 16, 17 years old, happened to be white, but tremendous future, I think. Now, how does a group like that, and how does a bald-headed young man like you, because you don't look like the typical person who is really into the blues, but if you go to a blues club here, name one, most of the, in many cases, most of the patrons, it's a very integrated, diverse group of people as opposed to what most people would think.
Right. One of the things that the Blues Society, we're going to be striving to do is get our Blues in the School program going. That is, I think, very critical to the further carrying the torch of the blues music. We need to go into the schools and educate the children, for them to learn to play instruments, educate them about the blues, where all music came from, the blues, and try to spark some excitement about it. And the only way to do that is to go into these schools with programs like Blues in the School to do that. And we're fortunate to have the kids from Jacksonville, Florida, to be out there carrying the torch, but we need more. We need more people involved in order to carry the music forward through the years to come, because a lot of the greats are no longer with us, and we're losing more and more each and every day. So.
And I don't want to harp on this, but the interesting thing about that group, which struck me in talking with them, their age, number one, they were all in high school, but they were drinking Coca-Cola and bottled water before and after their performance, which would probably not be what most people would think. And number two, they were going to get into their car and drive back to Jacksonville, because this was on a Sunday, so that they could go to class on Monday.
Exactly.
And number two, one of them has a scholarship to Harvard.
That's right.
So I was really impressed with them. Well, we're about out of time. I think there's a future for the blues in Atlanta.
I do too.
Obviously, you can count on my support and patronage at the blues clubs, and give my regards to Blackjack and AJ.
I sure will, President
Okay.
Pitts.
Thank you for being with us.
Thank you. It was my pleasure.
All righty. And thank you for watching this edition of the Council Report. I'm Robb Pitts, President of the Atlanta City Council.